It is on. Oh, sorry. Call the meeting to order. If everyone would take their seats, please. And if you'd all rise to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Invocation by Supervisor Locke. Now you are.
As we gather for this meeting, we call upon our Creator to be with us and to surround us with people who care and inspire us all to make the right decisions. We welcome all new supervisors and all returning supervisors. And happy Easter to everyone. Amen.
Amen. Executive Harris, is he here? I don't see him. Okay, well, briefly then, I just wanted to explain what's on your desks tonight. You do have your certificates of elections. Those are for you to take home. And then the oaths of office, once the judges administer the oath of office, you can go ahead and sign those, and then you can turn them in to us, and we'll take care of getting them to the appropriate judge for their signature. Also in your packets, we've got the handouts for tonight's meeting, but I just wanted to let you know that we do have the county board packet as a PDF file on the website now. So if you want to start using that instead of having a hard copy mailed to you, just let our office know. Then you can just have it electronically. It'll cut down on our costs for mailing and for costs for copying. So just let us know. All right. I'm not sure where the executive is, so we'll just go ahead with the okay. Oh, and everybody must sign in too, please, if you haven't done that. Supervisor Eisen? There is one issue with, I spoke with Corporation Counsel today, because your resolution to amend Section 3.3 of the County Board Rules does affect the voting for chairman and vice chairman. It was considered that we should vote on that resolution prior to voting in the chairman and the vice chairman. I don't know what the board's consensus is of that, but I'm going to call for the resolution 001 for 2014, amend Section 3.3 of the rules of the Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Eisen? I'm sorry. I apologize. We can do that first. All right, judges. Sorry. Yes. Yep. So. There you go.
I've been asked to swear in the right side of the room, so if the supervisor's on the right side of the your left, my right, if you would stand, please. And raise your right hand. I state your name. Having been elected to the office of Winnebago County Board Supervisor, district, and say your district, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you.
And I have the left side, or right as you're facing me. And I'd like to congratulate Supervisor Roble on his 18th swearing-in ceremony. And we also have somebody new also, I believe, on their first swearing-in ceremony. So congratulations to both of you and to all the rest that are somewhere in between. Raise your right hand, please. I state your name. Having been elected to the office of Winnebago County Board Supervisor District, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge Seifert and Judge Bissett. Okay, now we'll go to the resolution. Sorry about that. Supervisor Eisen, do you want to make a motion to bring that resolution forward?
I move to bring to the floor resolution number 001-42014.
Okay, we do have a second. Anybody want to discuss the resolution? Supervisor Neubauer? Supervisor Neubauer? Oh, is that, okay, sorry. Supervisor Hamblin? Did you want to discuss this resolution? No, okay. Supervisor Wingren? No, I'm against it. Okay. How about Supervisor Widener?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I would like to address this, please. I'm always amazed at Supervisor Eisen's dedication and research in the interest of Winnebago County. However, I believe Paul is misinterpreting the intent of this rule. I believe it is not to allow rules limiting to only two kind of candidates. The intent of the rule Paul wishes to lead is to speed up the process without altering the result. We have all heard horror stories about hundreds of ballots and hours of voting when we do have no way to actually reduce the number of people. A few years ago at the WCA Board of Directors election, we had like 4 people that were nominated for that position. And we went through several ballots before we finally were able to get someone to withdraw. Otherwise, we might still be there. Several years ago when we put in, Supervisor Wingren and I put this in one of the few times that Supervisor Wingren and I have worked together, I think. But it worked really well when we put it in. We were able to get through the balloting, and we were able to get the result I think that was deserved. So let's not do that here. Let's not put ourselves in a position where we may be voting for voting ballot after ballot. Let's leave the statement in the procedures. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Eisen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise because the only way to support this resolution is to read this resolution. The Winnebago County Board of Supervisors, whereas Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, 11th edition, 2011, Section 46, nominations and elections, line 23 speaks to the impropriety of limiting voting in an election to the 2 leading candidates. And it states in Robert's Rules, any attempt to limit the number of candidates for an office to 2 by whatever method they are nominated is an unfortunate practice that should be discouraged. Often, the leading 2 candidates for a position will represent 2 different factions, and division within the organization may be deepened by limiting the election to them. On the other hand, it may be possible to unite the members if the Assembly has the choice of a compromised candidate. And whereas your undersigned supervisor believes that rules of the Winnebago County Board of Supervisors in relation to the election of chair and vice chair should be amended so as to conform with the recommendations of Robert's Rules of Order. This Robert's Rules of Order has been confirmed by the Wisconsin Counties Association, and if you had those who served in the last session of the county board, if you had read through that proposition, which I had distributed at the last meeting of the county board, you would know that there was a video stream by the Wisconsin Counties Association confirming that information. I could not put this information and this resolution, I couldn't put it together better than our distinguished and experienced corporation counsel. So I'm not going to belabor the issue because you all know that I have a lot to say, but I think that our corporation counsel incorporated it all in this resolution.
Thank you. Supervisor Rowe?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Reading on line 6 of the resolution, and it does refer to Robert's Rules, 11th edition, section 46, page 437, line 23. All looks very legal, and I hope we can get away from getting into these discussions. I do not have a copy of the 11th edition, but I did go to the library, because it always concerns me when you have a quotation mark followed by a ... as you will see on line 8 of the resolution. So I went to line 23 and looked what came prior to that, beginning on line 19. And I really apologize for doing this, but you really should hear this. And I quote, "In some organizations using the nominating ballot, an attempt is made to limit the voting on the election ballot to the 2 nominees for each office receiving the highest number of votes on the nominating ballot." Unquote. So what is a nominating ballot? It is defined on the previous page, number 436, beginning on line 29. Quote, "The object of a nominating ballot is to provide the members with an indication of the sentiments of the voting body, which they may take into account in voting in the election. The value of the nominating ballot is that it shows the preference without electing anyone. The nominating ballot is conducted in the same way as an ordinary electing ballot, except that everyone that receives a vote is nominated. Then the teller's report, therefore, does not state the number of votes necessary for nomination. Since each member has the opportunity to nominate on his ballot a candidate for every office, he does not have the right to make nominations from the floor." Unquote. Because we do not use a nominating ballot, I would suggest that this resolution is out of order.
Okay. Thank you. Does anyone else have any comments? Okay. So you're saying you feel this is out of order, the resolution as a whole, or?
I don't care if you vote on it.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and vote on it since it's before the body. We go ahead and vote aye if you are in favor of this resolution. Vote nay if you are opposed. Supervisor Roble, if you just want to confirm your vote, please. Thank you. That has lost. All right. So we will continue with the election of the county board chairman. Okay, Supervisor, you want to switch the screen back then, Julie, when you got a minute? Okay, we'll set nominations for chairman. Supervisor Roble?
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. County Clerk.
Thank you.
I would recommend and nominate our past County Board Chairman, David Albright, to continue on to be our new County Board Chairman, because he's been very dedicated to Winnebago County. He's done an outstanding job over the years, and he's been a fair person, and I think we should re-elect him again and put him in there for a couple more years. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a second, Supervisor Ellis. All right. Is there any other nominations for chairman? Any other nominations for chairman? Any other nominations for chairman? All right. We will consider nominations closed. And everyone in favor of electing Supervisor Albrecht as County Board Chairman, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Congratulations. No, you can stay there. I'll help with the voting, or you can either stay there, or I'll help with the voting, or whatever you want. I'll try to stay there for a while. So,
Well, first I'd like to thank you. This is very humbling. I have to thank several people. I have to thank the two Susans in my life. My wife Susan and Clerk Susan. I guess as you see, I'm not the tough guy as I always present myself to be. But anyways, I owe those girls in the clerk's office a lot for helping me make my job easy, and I would like to thank them. And now we'll go on to the election of the County Board Chairman. We'll accept nominations. Pardon? I'm on the Vice Chairman. My emotions are still on me. Okay, we're accepting nominations for Vice Chair. Supervisor Egan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to nominate someone that's starting his 7th term here. He was born in Oshkosh. Him and his wife have raised 3 children, and he went on through high school here and then went on to Fox Valley Technical School, which we put a lot of money in that into. Went into the Navy and went on with honorable discharge, and then after he semi-retired, he went back to UW Oshkosh and graduated from there this last May. So at this time, I would like to go ahead and nominate Robert Warnke for Vice Chairman.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to nominate Robert Warnke. Are there any nominations for Vice Chairman? Are there any other nominations for Vice Chairman? Supervisor Wingren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, colleagues, for listening. I always believe there are 3 kinds of people in the world: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those that stand on the sidelines and say, what's happening? Supervisor Rowe is a kind of person that gets things that makes things happen, and that's why I'm proud to nominate him to be our Vice Chair. Bill Rowe makes things happen. 3 things come to mind as I nominate our colleague. First, he has a deep commitment to making government open, honest, and accountable. He goes the extra mile in search of answers to tough questions. We've heard that over and over again. Second, Bill Rowe does his homework. I really like the fact he most often knows the answers to questions before he asks them. He would have been a great teacher. He sometimes makes department heads nervous because he knows when something isn't right or needs more clarification. He keeps them on their toes by asking tough questions, and that's not a bad thing at all. And most important, he does this in a way that is respectful and civil. Third, he searches for truth, not controversy. There are two things you can do with bricks. You can build a wall or you can build bridges. Bill Rowe is a builder of bridges. He's dedicated to serving all the people of Winnebago County, north and south, rural and urban. He is a role model for civility and earns the respect of people who do not agree with him on a single issue at times. Why? Because he does his homework. He's honest and he is fair. He is dedicated to serving all the people. He would be dedicated to working with all of us in doing our job in representing the people. I have great respect for the other candidates and commend them for their willingness to serve. We have great challenges facing this board in the next 2 years. The possibility of a new airport terminal, maintaining our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, securing the courthouse, finding uses for abandoned buildings, providing levels of services that the people demand, and yet dealing with diminished revenue. Bill Rowe's service on the Personnel and Finance Committee, the Judiciary Committee, and the Facilities Committee provide him with a unique perspective and experience to hit the ground running. So I respectfully suggest Bill Rowe would make a great vice chair of the county board.
Okay. Are there any nominations for county board vice chair? Are there any others? Supervisor Finch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First week of January, I was going to run for vice chair. I had called a couple of people up to ask for support, and many of them said yes. But since then, my wife has retired, and I'm going to spend more time away in the winter than I would be here. And I didn't realize until recently that vice chair gets a salary. I don't feel it's right to collect a salary and be gone 4 or 5, 6 meetings. So therefore, I will not be running for vice chair. I do thank the people that said they would support me, but I am going to support Bill Rowe on many of the reasons why Supervisor Wincom said. I've known Bill for quite a while, and I'm going to support Bill, and I hope many of the people that said that they'd support me would go along with Supervisor Rowe also. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Supervisor Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to nominate Supervisor Shiloh Ramos for Vice Chairman. Supervisor Ramos has been a member of this board since 2006. He does his homework and clearly digs into the issues. And often he is the voice of reason when it comes to many complicated and contentious issues on this board. As you well know, he's also a member of the City Council in Neenah. He has also been a past member of the City Council in Appleton. He has thorough knowledge of many different issues facing this board, from finance to aviation to public safety. I think he would make a great contrast to the present chair in that he comes from the city of Neenah, and also he's just a little bit younger than the present chairman. You know, NACO has called for leaders of tomorrow and for the future, and I believe Supervisor Shiloh Ramos is one of those leaders, and that's why I encourage you to vote for him for vice chairman.
Okay. Is there a second?
Seconds are not necessary, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Okay. Will the clerk distribute some ballots? Who does? Okay. Do I have to say all the votes or just? Supervisor Rowe has 22 votes, Supervisor Warnke has 9 votes, and Supervisor Ramos have 5 votes. So, Mr. Rowe, welcome. Now, you can be the one I whisper to all the time and say, what's going on?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. I appreciate it. The first thing I want to do is thank Bill Wingren, Supervisor Bill Wingren. And I know you're not supposed to call people by name, but he was the first gentleman that I met 8 years ago when I got involved in county government. I didn't know who to turn to, and I don't know why, but I selected Bill. He instantly became a mentor. I appreciate everything he has done. He has since become a friend, and I appreciate that also. The next thing I would like to say is that I thank everyone that voted for me. I appreciate it very much. For those who didn't, I hope to earn your trust in the next 2 years. And the last thing I would like to say is that back a couple months ago when I sent out the letters indicating that I was running for vice chair, a number of you called me, and I appreciated those calls and the support. There were actually 4 people that said, what kind of power does the vice chair have? I said, you know, I've never really given it any thought. I don't care about power. I am doing it to support the chairman any way I can. I have deepest respect for him, and if there's anything I can do to support him, that's why I'm there. Along those lines, I would respectfully request that I remain in this seat rather than sit up there. I'd like to sit with the rest of my supervisors.
I don't think that's appropriate. I think you should sit up here because of the fact that probably coming up as some of the stuff comes up, I'm going to get down and say my piece, and you're going to have to jump over here. I would hope that you would come up here and sit. Appointments of committee on committees. I'd like to appoint Supervisor Gabbert, Supervisor Rowe, Supervisor Roble, and Supervisor Widener. So those are the appointments, and we will be meeting on Thursday at 10 o'clock in the conference room in the Orrin King building. I would like to take a couple-minute break just so that we can mingle and talk to the new supervisors and they can introduce themselves so we get to know. Pardon? I don't know. Is he here? Oh, he's here. Supervisor Harris, you want to give your welcome?
There, and I want to welcome all of you that have been reelected. But I wanted to extend a special welcome to the 3 new supervisors, and forgive me on this name, but Christian Harpt, and from District 3, Kobe Skellinger from District 13, and Robert Keller from District 32 are the new supervisors, and I'd especially like to welcome you to the County Board. One of the things you'll notice at the county board is every now and then you'll see that people will have to rush in late or dash out early. Many of our county board members are also on town boards or on city councils. Myself, I'm on the board for the Fox Valley Technical College, and every now and then those things coincide. I want to extend on behalf of Dr. Ramos his apologies that he has to rush off now to Neenah, where he's nominated for chair of the City Council, and that meeting coincides with this one. But thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a couple minute break and okay, we'll go on now to the orientation session. I would like to, with your permission, move supervisor's email account information presentation by Patty Francoeur from Information Department up to the first one. All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Patty, you're on.
Good evening. My name is Patty Francoeur. I'm the IS Director for Winnebago County, and I'm going to give you a brief refresher on the county email. I promise there's only 5 slides, and I'll just go through quickly what the new people probably should hear and what some people who maybe aren't using the county email yet need a refresher on. Everything I say will be geared toward you accepting using the county email to start with here. So some of the benefits would be keeping your personal and business email completely separate with the open records, public records requirements. If you do have a PC at home and you use a Hotmail or a Gmail account, those can be subpoenaed if needed for open records type requests. With the county, if you use the county email, we have a built-in 7-year retention practice. So you would be covered if anything needs to be looked up for an open records request, or if you yourself just want to have that history. We would have 7 years, a rolling 7-year retention of email. It would be easy for our constituents to remember. I know we do put it on the county website and we put whatever you do use, but if you do have the county domain, it's an easy thing to remember. You also would have access to all of the global countywide email address book. So in communicating with any other county employees, you would have that in your address book. As far as help, again, if you accept the county email, if you allow your password to expire because you're not on the network, you would have to call the help desk, and I think all the paperwork was distributed for instructions, and we'll get to that, but you would have to call in to get a password reset. You do also have the option, if you are in a county building, you could have someone help you log on and reset your password if you're here somewhere. But otherwise, you can call from home or wherever you're logging on and have us help you reset. If you do need to retrieve any archived email, again, you can come in and we can set you up with, you can log on and do your own searches to look at your historical emails, or you can contact my department and we can assist you in getting whatever email query that you want sent to you. Right now, the naming scheme for county board supervisors for your emails would be first name dot last name at our domain name, which is co.winnebago.wi.us. I just wanted to mention that it is possible to go with something different with the naming scheme. However, we would like it to be uniform or standard. Right now, anyone that accepts the county email, that is the format. However, if you would be interested in changing it, I'll just put it out that you guys can discuss. I don't know if you have to vote on it or what that would be, but one suggestion that has been brought to me more than one time is to have the name be district number. That way it would, it would carry on if, let's say, there's a change in the seat and people want what has been communicated from that district. It would be a new password and you would carry on with the same email. Plus, historically, everything that's archived would then be for that district under the same name going forward from whenever it starts. So that's an option. I'll just throw it out there for information purposes only, and you can discuss it. So to initiate accepting the county email, there's kind of 3 steps. There's a form that you need to give us your choice if you want the county email or if you want something else listed on the county network, because we do put your contact information out on the website. 2, we would ask that you sign our computer use agreement, which just states the same thing that goes to any employee that uses our system as far as confidentiality and expectations of privacy and things like that. The only difference on the form that this board signs is the if there are violations to the policy, the thing that we put out there is that we would potentially revoke your email, your county email. So we ask you to abide by the same stuff our employees do, and again, the consequences of any violations are different for you guys. So there's those 2 forms. And then also in your packet, you should have the actual instructions of how to go there. And I will just show that quick so you can see what this sheet is talking about. It might not be the speediest in this room, but we'll... Okay, so this is the county website, www.co.winnebago.wi.us. And if you go on the left-hand side to other links, and then on this page you go all the way to the bottom, and you would select the mailbox that you see here. And then you would get a login where you put your county email address and whatever password you set yourself up with. And then you follow the instructions that you've been given. Anybody have any questions for me?
I have 2 questions. The first one is, you had something on the previous slide that mentioned tablets. Well, I don't know why. I mean, is there, is it, I have a tablet, so that's what I'm asking.
Okay, and I wanted to say something about that. So if we do agree to distribute tablets for the board to use, and it's an if out there, the naming scheme would be much more ideal if it were district number at. Just because if we deploy tablets, they're set up per one profile. So if there is a change in the seat, or if one person wants one and one person doesn't want one, we can't just give that tablet to someone else to use or pass it on without wiping it out and resetting it all up. If it's district@co for the email, we can just change the password and pass the device on.
So that doesn't refer to people who have permanent tablets?
No.
Okay. The second question is, once you activate this email address, how long does it take? And once you sign up, how long does it take before it's activated?
As soon as I get the sheet.
Okay, thanks.
Supervisor Finch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One thing I'm hoping that they do get straightened out is when your password expires, the old system, it lets you know you had 15 days, 20 days, whatever. The new system doesn't do that. All of a sudden, the last 2 times, it's gone out, and then you have to go to the help desk to go through all the motions. Are we going to be able to have a time limit where it's going to state you got 20 days or 10 days to change your password?
It does do that, and actually my password's expiring in 10 days or something like that, and I can show you where.
Please do, because it does not come on mine, Patty.
It might take a little bit for mine to
No.
come up because I have a lot of email. Oh, quick. So it's not bold or distinct, but right up there, your password will expire.
See, on mine, it doesn't do that. Unless, when did it just start doing it now?
No. Since we changed the system, it gives you a warning and it'll give you a countdown. I believe it starts at 15 days. You have a 15-day
That's what the old
countdown.
one did, but I'm
mean,
just telling you.
It's not real bold, but
Would you put that up again one time? No, so I can get a better look at it. So where does it show it now again, Patty?
right in the middle on the top.
Your password? Okay, now I see it. But I didn't see it a minute ago, though. But it does not go on mine, unless, because I'm on it at least 3 times a week.
Okay. It should be a 15-day countdown.
Okay.
And,
Mine does
and
that.
it's,
Well, you know,
it's
I've-
global. It's a global setting. It's not.
You know, I've talked to you about this the first time around. And it still happened again a while back ago, and I had somebody else that I did it through the help desk that helped me out. Don't get me wrong. In fact, let me tell the people here, the help desk does a super banged up job. I mean, when you have the problem, they get right down and they go through it by the numbers. So even a person who's not computer intelligent like myself, they can teach you how to do it. Thank you.
Did you push your button? Supervisor Smith, I'll get you when you're like.
Okay. Patty, I'm suggesting this for the entire board, that when they do sign into it, to get to use the district number and not their name, because I believe in the future, we're going to be presenting a resolution for the tablets, and if it's voted on, and even if it's not, people that be using it, that District 8, whatever district you have, is going to be so much easier to work with in the future. So if we do it right away, you won't have to change anything.
Well, we definitely would have to reset everyone up. The people who do currently have it, it's first name dot last name. It's already set up that way. So we need a consensus because, again, we'd like it to be, if you accept county email, we'd like it to all be the same naming scheme. If you're still going to use a Gmail or Hotmail, that's your choice.
But yeah, this is what I'm speaking of. It's just strictly for those that want to use the county and that they use a district rather than their name, district and number. And that's anybody setting up new accounts now.
Supervisor Haig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In regards to the paperwork, if we have already established a county email, do we have to resubmit?
No.
In regards to the county email, it's a great system. Is there a way that we could beef up the spam filters or do some things to, I get a lot of emails that should probably be spammed or filtered out somehow?
I can look at that. We definitely do have spam filters on, but I can look at maybe some examples from you or something that you consider spam. We can see if it's global or...
Sure. Well, just about everything from Chairman Albrecht I would consider spam. Just kidding.
Supervisor Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Being a member of the IS committee, also having 30 years plus experience in the IT community, I'm going to suggest maybe that when we resume the IS committee that we come back and make, for transparency reasons and also for possibly legal reasons, Mr. Bodner can probably expound on this, that we require, not suggest, that we require all board members to use their district, in my case, District 25 address. I mean, it just makes things so much easier because if somebody resigns or something like that, the person that comes in can, see the past emails that person had and, and different things like that. I'm sure it would have helped me a lot more, had I had seen all the emails that was, prior to when I came in. You also got to think about the fact that if you use your personal email and for some reason there's an investigation, well, they're going to get your whole Hotmail account. They're just not going to get everything in there that does the county board. I mean, they might say, oh, we're only going to look at anything that has the county board because in my email account I have a folder for county board stuff that I stick in there. They're going to get your whole thing. So I mean, I don't mind if they get mine. I don't have any skeletons in my email, but I think just for transparency reasons mainly, and for possibly legal reasons, that all county board members use a county email address with the district and the number. Just my suggestion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Patty. There are no more questions. I would like the Corporation Council to maybe you can cover it with this ethics, but some time ago, years ago, somebody asked for my emails, but they had to say specific what they wanted. Is that the way it is today? I mean, do they have to say specific? They just can't take every email that I have.
Well, here's the way it works. Any person can make an open records request of a governmental official or office. So you're all subject to the open records law. If you receive an email from a constituent, or you send an email to a constituent, or you send an email or receive an email from one of your associates here on the board, or it could be by letter form, a note, you're required to keep those records, and you're required generally to keep them for at least 7 years. Unless they're a personal nature, I mean, for example, somebody send you an email saying, I'm sorry about the death of your father or your uncle or something like that. It's of a personal nature, but you're required to keep those. Those are governmental records, unfortunately or fortunately. whatever way you want to look at it, and you're required to keep them for 7 years. So anybody could come in off the street. They don't even have to identify themselves and make a request for those records from you. But if they do that, they have to be specific they have to specifically identify the records that they want, and they have to give you a specific time period under which the records are requested. They can't come in and just say, I want all your emails. They could come in and say, I want all your emails or records in relationship to conversations or whatever you've had with regard to the Highway Committee between January 1st and September 1st of 2013. That would be probably sufficiently narrow that you would have to respond to it. And if you get a request like that, you have to respond within 5 business. Generally, the Attorney General recommends that you respond within 5 business days. You don't have to give them the records, but you have to tell them that you are looking for them, or you have to respond in some way. I would recommend, if you get a request like that, that you come to my office and see me, because there's certain things that you want to put in your response that will protect you from liability. Generally speaking, if you deny a request for an open records and it's denied illegally, you're on the hook for actual attorney's fees and costs with regard to that. So you don't want to get yourself in trouble. You don't want to run up a bill. If somebody's entitled to a record, you're going to get it for them. And this is one of the reasons why Patty and others suggest that if you're going to use an email for county purposes, that you get a county email address and just use that. It's going to be a whole lot easier to retrieve the records, and it's a whole lot easier if you have a practice of only using that one account, the governmental account for it, that we can make a good argument to a judge that, look, John Smith never, as a county board supervisor, never used this, and you don't have somebody snooping around in your personal email records. It doesn't mean somebody can't make a request to look at your email records, but it's going to make it a whole lot easier to defend it and keep people out of those records, or your email account at home, so to speak. So anyway, hopefully that answers that question. My name is John Bodner, in case you didn't know. I'm the Corporation Counsel for Winnebago County, and what I do is I provide civil legal services for the county. I don't do any criminal work. That's the DA's bailiwick, but I represent the county with regard to anything that's civil. It doesn't mean I personally represent the county with regard to every single case that comes through. I have assistants that do certain things, and also from time to time when we have complicated matters, we hire counsel from outside with regard to specific matters, such as bonding. We usually use a bond counsel from one of the big firms in Milwaukee or Madison. If we have some issue, say it could be construction litigation, could be labor litigation, we may do that. And oftentimes when we get sued, and when I say we, I mean the county gets sued, or one of its officers or employees gets sued for an accident or something of that sort, we turn the matter over to the insurance company that the county has a policy with, and then the insurance company appoints counsel, and that attorney represents the county or its employees with regard to that matter. So that's what my office does, just a general outlook. I think, Sue, you gave them the ethics handbook. There should be an ethics handbook in your package. I composed this several years ago. Hopefully couldn't find these when I went into court. Here are my cheat sheet for commitment questions, so I need to take those off there. I don't think any of you want committed. And but generally, I'm not going to go over the whole thing. There's a couple points I want to make with you. Do any of you own a business that is likely to do any type of business with the county? Okay. Just in case you would start your own business, you're limited to, basically, I'm just going to summarize this in a nutshell. You can't do more than $15,000 worth of business a year with the county if you're on the county board. That's a state law. It's a criminal law. You don't want to break that because you could end up going to jail for it. So we've had people in the past that have owned carpet business and things like that, and they had to restrict the amount of business they did with the county to $15,000 a year, and that's an aggregate. It's not a one-time thing. So if you had 15 contracts of $1,000 apiece, you have to watch that. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing is there's a civil law 19.59, subsection 1, subsection A, and this is on page 5 of the outline, that says no local public official may use his or her public position or office to obtain financial gain or anything of substantial value for the private benefit of himself or herself or his or her immediate family or for an organization with which the official is associated. Substantial value. In 1977, the State Ethics Board basically said that any gift over $25 violates the law. So you shouldn't be accepting gifts of over $25. A gift under $25 could violate a law. An acceptance of promotional trinkets does not violate the law. So if somebody offers to buy you a cup of coffee, that's not a violation of the law. Somebody goes out, it gives you a pen or a Frisbee or something like that with their name on it, and you accept it, that's not a violation of the law. Somebody goes out and buys you the best steak dinner at Chris's Steakhouse in Milwaukee or something like that, you probably have a problem. Private benefit means that you've obtained the benefit by use of your position, and it's benefiting either you or your family on a private basis. Your family is considered to be your spouse and anybody that you support that's related to you, or that supports you. So if you're in college and your parents are supporting you, your parents are part of your family. If you have a mother or father that's at home and you're supporting them, that they're dependent upon you, they're part of your family under the law. People often ask, I have things come up like my brother-in-law somebody will say, my brother-in-law wants a zoning change or is asking for a zoning change. Do I need to abstain from voting on that? And my question to them is, are you supporting your brother? Is he dependent upon you? How about vice versa? No. Well, then it's not a violation of the law to vote on that. However, it may not look good. You have to look at the political aspect of things. But legally, that's okay as long as you don't have that relationship there. One of the things I tell people to stay away from is drawings where you go to a convention or something and they have a drawing for a $500 gift certificate for a washer at Van Vriede's or something like that. And not everybody in the world can enter that drawing. You're only there because you're a county board member. You should not, if you win, if you put your name in that drawing, you should not accept what's being provided to you as a prize. Now, if you go into a restaurant and you can put your business card in a fishbowl and anybody in the world can put it in there, that's fine. But if you're able to enter a lottery, lottery or drawing just because you're a county board member, you should not be accepting the prize if you win it. You could accept it and donate it to the county or give it to the county. We've had people that did that. They won a TV set or something like that. They gave it to the university. But if you're accepting it for your private benefit and it's over $25, you're probably going to have a problem with that if somebody questions it. You're associated with an organization if you own 10% or more of the stock in that corporation or association, or you're on the board of that association. So let's say, for instance, you were on the board of directors of the First Presbyterian Church and there was a petition that came before the church for a zoning change that involved the church, you need to abstain from voting on that because you're associated with that organization because you're on the board. Let's say something came up with Kimberly-Clark and you own 200 shares of stock in Kimberly-Clark. Could you vote on that? Yes, because you don't own more than 10% of the shares of that corporation. With regard to ethics issues, if you have a question, please come and consult me. I can give you a written opinion which will protect you. If there's an investigation subsequently, you can say you relied on my advice. I'm not going to give you something that I think is wrong, but I will give you an opinion with regard to it. Also, there is a state ethics board. It's now called the Government Accountability Board, and you can ask them for an opinion, or you can ask them for an opinion through me. Finally, you have the open records law. There's also an open meetings law, and this is an area where county board members often get into trouble with. If you go to a meeting, you have to, the meeting has to be posted at least 24 hours in advance. A meeting is a meeting of at least, is a meeting of a quorum of that committee. So if you have 5 people on the committee and you have 3 people that get together and meet, that's a quorum. You have to post that. It's got to be open to the public. People get into trouble on county boards throughout the county because they will do things like they'll meet at a coffee shop and talk, or they'll meet and talk over the internet. 2 or 3 people get together and talk over the internet and have a dialogue, and that's technically a meeting, and if it hasn't been posted and it's not open to the public, it's a violation of the open meetings law. I would really suggest that you limit discussion between yourself to not asking for a reply if you do it over the internet, or even better yet, just discuss things that aren't of substantive value if you're going to discuss it whether on the internet or elsewhere. If you want to ask somebody what time is that meeting, or I need a ride to that meeting, I don't think that's a problem. But again, you need to limit any discussions to non-substantive matters. So it's just kind of my spiel in a nutshell. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them right now.
Supervisor Keel.
Over here. I put a static web page out there to get my name out because I, walking and all that. Is there anything I need to be concerned about? My alderman in the city of Neenah has one where she'll post, here's the agendas. It's not really official. It's out there. Do I need to watch anything? I was going to do something similar.
Not if you're asking, not asking for a response with regard to that.
No, it's just like,
I don't see a problem with that. It's more informational purposes, or put something in there like the Parks Department is going to open a new trail on Saturday. I don't see a problem with that. And again, if you're just receiving emails from constituents with regard to things, it's not a problem. Just remember that that is a government record. Okay. But where you're going back and forth, people are talking on the internet, chatting between themselves, it could cause a problem for you.
Sure.
Supervisor Smith.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bogner. I have set up back a couple of elections ago using my own email, but I put a separate folder in strictly for county business. So if I'd have to show you those records, all I have to do is show what's in that folder and nothing else. Is that correct? I've been told that.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if somebody came in and filed a lawsuit, we would have to show, and they asked for computer records, we'd probably have to dig those out, whether they're in private or on a public email address. Because the fact that you just say there's nothing in there isn't going to satisfy people. But it's a lot easier to retrieve those if they're all in one place and you've kept everything in one place that has to do with government business. The advantage, and I'm not saying you have to do this, of having a county email address is that we do have a records retention system and a records retrieval system within the email, So, for example, Larry, if you have emailed me in the past, I can put a query in and I can go back 7 years and retrieve any emails that I received from you, or I can do it by subject. I mean, or word. Yeah. It makes it a lot easier. So anyway, that's just a suggestion. But you're certainly free. You don't have. First of all, you don't have to have an email.
No.
You don't have to have a computer. You don't have to have an email address. There's nothing that requires you to do that. But I do know that in today's world, most people do. And the second thing is that you don't have to have a county email address if you don't want one.
It just would be wiser to have one.
It may be. I'll let you be the judge of that, okay?
Okay.
Supervisor Widener.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bodner, I think I'm correct on this, but if you're on a commission or a board such as AdvoCap or Winnefox, I assume that if something comes up from those agencies, that we can still vote on those?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay. If for example, AdvoCap comes in and asks for some money from the county board.
Oh, yes, because you're not doing that. This has come up before. I understand your question now. There's no private benefit to you in doing that. You're doing that. You're on that board by virtue of being a county board member, and you're doing it, you're voting on it, or you're bringing a resolution to the board and voting on it as a matter of public interest. So that's not a conflict of interest. And same thing with regard to if you're on a town board or city council. Just because something would benefit, for example, the city of Neenah or the town of Omro, and you're on their board, you can still vote on it.
Okay. I'm sure of that, but thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
The first one, explanation of county board room voting system, you will, like Supervisor Rasmussen will be helping the gentleman behind him. Supervisor Haig will help the gentleman aside of him, show you how that all works, and so that's how that'll work when those items come up to be voted on. PowerPoint presentation regarding per diems, mileage expenses, and insurance. County Clerk's Office.
If I could just quick answer one question. A couple people asked me before Julie starts her presentation where these meetings are recorded, how to view them. Besides on TV or live if we're not in conflict with any other community meetings, these are all archived on the Oshkosh Community Media site, and we have a link on our website. So for those who asked me this question, if you go to the Winnebago County website, and right where you see your minutes and agendas, there's a little link underneath that. That will take you to the Oshkosh Community Media website, and then you pick by date of what the recordings for these meetings. So hopefully that answers a question for some of you that came up to me.
Okay, I've been asked to give this presentation tonight because I'm the one that keeps track of all of the days and all the different committees and meetings that you guys go to. Each board member shall be responsible for compiling their own expense sheet for payment by the county of per diem, mileage, and other expenses. Such expense sheets must be submitted to the county board chair or county clerk's office no later than the first Monday of each month. An electronic version of the per diem sheet is available from the county clerk's office, and my number is there. If you want it, it works pretty, I like it. County board and committee meetings. County board business and special orders meetings count as one full day. That's $66. A committee meeting can be a full day or a half day. Half days are totaling 4 hours or less, then you would get $44. A full day would be over 4 hours, that's $66. No county board supervisor may claim more than one per diem for each day of service as a county board supervisor. So if you go to 2 different meetings, if it's less than 4 hours, you only get the $44. If it's more than 40 hours, you would get $66, but you can't get $44 and $66. On the next sheet, you guys did get this PowerPoint in your packets also. The next sheet just shows a sample of the online version of the per diem sheet. Okay, assigned or unassigned meetings. Supervisors are assigned to committees, commissions, and boards. Any county board member may attend without voting privileges any open or closed meeting of any county board committee, board, or commission. The county board chairman can fill in for missing members at any meeting and has voting rights. In the absence of the county board chairman, the vice chairman has the ability to vote. If you are a member of a committee, commission, or board, the meeting is considered assigned. If you are not a member of that committee, commission, or board, the meeting is considered unassigned. And there's 2 different spots on your per diem sheets that can show where it's assigned or unassigned. In Winnebago County, supervisors are limited to 30 days for service on committees, commissions, or boards per year. If in excess of 30 days, it must be approved by the county board, and that's a state statute. Okay. Seminars and conferences. Advance approval is required for attendance at meetings, conferences, or educational seminars. Supervisors need to complete a request to attend conference, convention, or seminar form to attend these seminars. This form needs to be approved and signed by the county board chairman. And then on the next page is a copy of that request to attend form. Okay. For your mileage reimbursements and insurance requirements, the maximum state mileage reimbursement rate is 56 cents per mile effective January 1st to December 31st, 2014. Supervisors are reimbursed for mileage to attend meetings. If operating a privately owned motor vehicle, supervisors are required to provide proof of insurance. A minimum automobile liability insurance requirement is $100,000 for each person for bodily injury, $300,000 for each occurrence for bodily injury, $50,000 for each occurrence for property damage. For lodging, the county clerk's office makes accommodation reservations for supervisors to attend conferences. Supervisors are required to pay for accommodations upon arrival at the convention, then added to their per diem sheets for reimbursement. Lodging costs will not be reimbursed for any site within 50 miles of the Winnebago County Courthouse unless approved in advance by the county board chairman. Reimbursement for porter services are reimbursable expenses under the county ordinances. For meals, supervisors are allowed certain amounts for meals while attending seminars or conventions. Breakfast is $7.50, lunch $9, dinner $18. If you're attending a convention and your meal exceeds the allowable limit, keep track of your meal receipts and turn them in with your per diems. Credit card slips or statements will not be acceptable. The cost of tips from 10% of meal expenses or gratuities of up to 15% included as part of the meal bill are reimbursable expenses for meal expense reimbursements only when claimed on a per meal basis under the county ordinances. Miscellaneous expenses. Miscellaneous expenses would include the following: parking expense, baggage claim, tips, etc. Receipts are required to be reimbursed for these expenses. Tips other than meal tips, alcoholic beverages, barber or beautician cost, in-room movies, health club fees, and all sundry items not specifically addressed in the county ordinance book are not reimbursable. Health insurance and dental insurance. Upon payment of premiums, health and dental insurance is available for all supervisors. Please contact the Human Resources Benefits Specialist for more information. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact the County Clerk's office or the County Board Chairman. And please keep current with your per diem sheets. Thank you. Any questions?
It was for a previous.
Okay, on her last one was keep your per diems current. There are many of them that have months out there where we have to. On her last question up there, it says keep your per diems current. We have many supervisors that don't keep them current. I used to be in the same boat. I worked, and I didn't, and then I would come back and try to fill them out and guess at it for which one 3 months ago and where I was and where I wasn't. But you have to try to keep them current because they have to keep records of all that stuff, and some of it has to be handed in to different organizations, and so we would like you to try to keep them current. I understand it's very hard to do to be current every month, but there are some of them that aren't very well keeping up with it. So, thank you, Julie. At this time, I'd like to ask Michael Collier, the Human Resource Director and Payroll Benefits Manager, to come up and explain the.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Mike Collard, Human Resources Director. I'm sorry you don't have the pleasure of meeting the...
Hang on a second, 1 minute. Supervisor Warnke, I'm sorry I didn't see it.
I'll save it for later.
I was just going to say I'm sorry you don't have the pleasure of meeting Jane Hughes, our Payroll and Benefits Manager. I told her she could stay home because there really wasn't too much to cover. In fact, I was able to take care of most of my business before the meeting by meeting with each of the brand new members and going through some necessary paperwork. The rest of you veterans pretty much know where it's at and have your papers in order. For those of you who are interested in the health insurance, though, I do want to remind you, although it was mentioned in the previous presentation, that if you are interested in taking the county health or dental coverage, you have the option of doing that. Since it's a new county board term, we essentially give you a new open enrollment period, so even if you weren't in before, you may enroll this month. If you are interested, please see me, and I have some forms here today, or come by the HR office or give me a call. We can give you that information. It is required that you pay the full premium if you take either the health or the dental, so the premium for health starts at about $550 per month for single coverage, up to $1,456, I think, for family coverage, currently at the lower level plan, and dental is, I think, $38 and $91 if you're interested in that. So please let me know if you are. If you do already have the coverage and just want to continue it, you don't have to do anything new. We'll just continue your enrollment as it is. That said, otherwise, Human Resources deals with 1,200 different county employees, and you're all county employees of a different variety. Just in terms of a thumbnail sketch of our employee workforce, we have about 1,200 employees in all categories. We used to have 7 bargaining units, 7 unions. That's not really true anymore. All of our bargaining units have been decertified by the Employment Relations Commission other than one, the one, of course, being the law enforcement employees in the Sheriff's Department who are not decertified, and they, in fact, retain much more full collective bargaining rights. The others are now completely decertified. So there are still unions present, but as voluntary associations of employees, not having bargaining rights. So that's one point I wanted to just make clear. Otherwise, there are a multitude of employee issues that come up throughout the course of the year. My department participates in hiring, I would say, several employees a week. I think we have about 12 openings right now we're working on, so that keeps us busy. But also, the work of the county is done primarily by employees. So those 1,200 people, vast majority of which do an outstanding job and are really in the jobs they have because they love public service and are devoted to that. Of course, there are always problems and issues that come up, and so I just encourage you, if you do have a particular problem you're aware of or a particular issue about county employees or departments, the way they're structured, or if there's a particular performance issue, it's not something for an elected board to look into. That's more of an administrative matter, but absolutely feel free to give me a call. You can talk to the department head, but you can certainly talk to me, and we'll look into the matter and find out what we need to find out. So otherwise, if the board has any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them.
Guess not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 002-42014. Amend Section 24-7 of Rules of Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Eisen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for approval of Resolution 002-42014.
Been moved and seconded. Supervisor Haig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In regards to this resolution, I'm just curious as to why there's no committee vote stated.
Supervisor Eisen, they would like to know why there wasn't a committee vote.
Because it was not submitted to the committee, because it was submitted as a change to the county board rules, which designates the function of the committees. It's the committee's supervisor, the county board. This particular change comes on the heels of Tri-County Ice Arena's divided opinions on the past board. This measure resolves the questions on the Tri-County by assigning it to the Parks and Recreation Committee and Department where it appropriately belongs. If you read through the context of the resolution, you can see the rationale for that, for those of the supervisors who have participated in the last term. You're very familiar with the dialogue, the debate, and the controversies that we've experienced. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So is the submitting supervisor a member of the Park and Recreation Committee?
The submitting supervisor is a member of the county board,
So the answer is yes or no?
elected for 5 terms, and a participant in the debate on the county board floor over the past several years that this issue has been addressed to the board.
So I take that as a no. And in regards to the last statement about this issue being addressed by the county board, I don't recall a previous resolution coming before this board from the park committee or anybody else establishing the Tri-County Ice Arena as part of the Park and Recreation Department.
May I respond, Mr. Chairman? Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's the purpose of this resolution, to amend the rules such that, and the rules, if you read the rules, you will see that the rules designate the responsibility of the committees, whereas the rules of the Winnebago County Board of Supervisors do not assign a committee of jurisdiction to the Tri-County Ice Arena, whereas your undersigned supervisor believes the Tri-County Ice Arena should be assigned to the jurisdiction of a committee, given the fact that the arena is now totally owned by Winnebago County. For the benefit of those supervisors who have not experienced the history of this issue, this has been an issue in which Years ago, Winnebago County partnered with Outagamie County, and the manner in which the partnership was enforced was through an agreement and through the actions of the county executives and their county executives' appointments to members of the Ice Ring Association. In 2013, Winnebago County purchased the Outagamie County share of the ice rink. So for the first time in the history of the 40 years of the ice ring, it is solely in the ownership of Winnebago County. And that's why this issue needs to be addressed, because this is a new circumstance for this piece of property.
Thank you. I appreciate the comments from the supervisor. Was just looking for clarification, however, because you had stated in your previous comments that this specific resolution has come up before this board, and just by comparing that to your most recent statement that this has not come up before this board before. So I would suggest then that this is not the appropriate time or place to do this through the change of a rule. And if you feel it necessary, or if any member of this board feels it necessary to change the jurisdiction of the Tri-County Ice Arena, that it should be done through the committee process. Thank you.
May I comment on that, Mr. Chairman?
No, we'll let it go for now. Supervisor Finch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to speak just as a county board supervisor. For the new people, I am on the park committee. However, I do feel that it would be good if we did the park department did take it over. And the main reason is there's a lot of stuff to be done. For the new county board supervisors, there's a lot of work and a lot of money to be done. However, the park department, through our director and associates of them, have the opportunity to maybe getting grant money to help pay for some of this stuff. Now, we've paid for other stuff. An example, for the new people, we tore down a building, put up a brand new one, Parkview. Every time I turn around, we're still sticking new money into a brand new building. We turned around and we have a thing called an airport. Every time I turn around, we're sticking $500,000 into it. Makes no difference. The point is, it's for Winnebago County. And if we have the opportunity of taking it and getting grant money, I feel we should. So I am for this resolution as a county board supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This struggle amongst us county board supervisors has been brought up previously. My understanding of the current rules is that we have a committee of jurisdiction, which is the Property Management and Facilities Committee, which I'm a member of. Our responsibility is to oversee the buildings within this county, with some exception. There's parks and other buildings that are overseen by certain committees by ordinance. But this building, from my understanding, is under the responsibility of our committee, which is Property and Facilities Management. I see no reason to amend the rules. Our committee has and continues to address issues with this facility. Our county executive has appropriated and approved a leasing agreement or a management agreement multiple times with a group that manages the facility. So this facility is overseen by a committee currently. I believe that's working fine, and I see no reason to change it. I appreciate the comments from Mr. Finch, and if there's grants available, certainly that can be entertained by this board, or he can bring it forward by their current committee, which is Parks. But I see no reason to change the jurisdiction and responsibility of the current committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't feel at this time that this resolution should be considered. I'm also on a Parks Committee, and I see no reason for it to put this responsibility on the Parks Committee. I think it should be discussed by the Parks Committee and by the Judicial and Public Safety Committee. They should discuss it. In this resolution, it refers to turning the leasing and responsibilities over to the Parks Department. At present, the leasing is handled by the county executive. So that has to be considered. So I see no reason to deal with this resolution tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe that Supervisor Fari has answered the question I planned to ask. Thank you.
Thank you. The question I wanted to ask was concerning the who oversees the actual operating budget of the Tri-County Arena. Is this left solely in the jurisdiction of the county board president, or is this something that one of the committees should look at in terms of managing the direction? If we own this facility outright right now, I believe that a committee should be assigned to at least monitor the type of expenses and the types of investments that are being made in that facility, because presumably now it's going to be even more of a cost to the taxpayer, and we need to be absolutely certain that anything that's going to be expended on that facility is something that's going to benefit everybody. Thank you.
I'm in concurrence with Supervisor Fari, and I'm glad he kind of explained what's going on. I'm not going to support this resolution because I feel that the property and facilities is the committee to handle the building, not the parks. And we have a lease currently, and I'm sure in that lease, which I've never seen a copy of, there are stipulations in there on who maintains what, the leasee or the leaser, and facilities probably would be involved in any maintenance on it. So I'm not going to get into a committee. I'm just saying that I don't believe it should go to the Parks Department, because I would think the Parks Department would have brought the resolution forward if they wanted it, which they still could do in the future. So I'm not going to support this resolution.
Thank you. Supervisor Rowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be brief, but I'm looking at this basically and logically, and I'm looking at the rule book, and I'm looking at parks versus facilities, and I'm looking at it outdoor activities versus indoor activities. And I'll read from the book. Under parks, it says it shall be responsible for obtaining maintenance, operation, and development of all Winnebago County parks. They're outdoors. And recreational areas, like our soccer fields, they're outdoors. The swimming area is outdoors, including boat landings. They're outdoors. Recreational travel areas, I imagine this is the walkways and parkways and so forth, which are outdoors. Associated programs and wildlife preservation areas, period. End of paragraph. Those are outdoors. If we flip the page and go to facilities, and I'm quoting from that paragraph, it said this committee shall review policy issues related to the Winnebago County buildings. The ice arena is a building. Grounds, they are on grounds. Office equipment, furniture, and fixtures in all county-owned or leased facilities. And you even have the word facilities. I think it belongs where it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Knitsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there somebody from the Facilities and Management Committee that can recall that they ever applied for rent for that facility? That must be a no.
Paul, I let you talk 3 times already. I think we'll just go on. All right? Okay, vote aye if you want to approve it, no if you don't. That has failed. Resolution 003-42014, amend section 3.10 of the rules of Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move for adoption of Resolution 003-42014.
Been moved and seconded.
I think it's pretty straightforward. I think everyone here are equals here. I think everyone on this board deserves to be a participant. I think everyone on this board deserves a committee assignment. I'm speaking not only for the new and the relatively new people, but for anyone. I remember when I was coming back from my third term, and I had, in the previous term, had 2 committee assignments, and I came back, and the committees gave me none. I think there are enough committee assignments that every single one of us can get 1 committee assignment. I think it's very simple, and I was talking to another supervisor last night. He supports it, and that's why I think you should support it. I think we should make it just put in the rules for all time, or not all time, but put in place that every single one of us will get a county board committee assignment. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Widener.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. After the debacle of last month and some discussions with the Wisconsin Counties Association, I spent some time reflecting on exactly why we are here on the county board. And the only reason we are here is to provide services for the residents of Winnebago County. And this resolution does not in any way provide any additional or any services to our residents. In addition, we just approved a committee on committees, and their mission is to assign committees on the basis of expertise and experience so that we can better service the residents of Winnebago County. It's not so we can spread the things out. And do remember that there are commissions and boards, so we're not talking about someone being shut out completely. But if we do pass this resolution, it's going to make it more difficult for the committee on committee to put together the best people in the best positions. So please remember why we are here and turn this resolution down. Thank you.
Supervisor Wingren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're starting off really good here because now I'm agreeing with Mr. Widener again, which I do more often than he probably realizes. But this argument has been going on for years, and the answer is simple. There are boards and commissions. Look in the book at the membership on these boards and commissions, and you'll see some people have a big, long list, and then maybe they're on one committee or whatever. So I really like Mr. Widener's emphasis on the fact this is not a status thing or a pecking order kind of a thing. We're here to serve and represent the people of the county. How many committees you're on or how many boards and commissions that you're on is not a measure of the quality or the amount of service that we provide. So this resolution is certainly not needed and just complicates things beyond what it needs to be. Thank you.
Supervisor Rowe.
Thank you. I promise to be brief. but because of a conversation I had before I got up here, I think I should share it with you. I can sit here and look at a lot of young faces, people that have not retired, people that go to school. And the comment I heard was, I still work. Some of these people are retired, I still work. And I've looked at the committees that I might be interested in, but most of those committees meet during the day. I can't go to those committee meetings. But perhaps they can be found to serve on a commission or a board that would fit with their schedule. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Norton?
I guess I disagree because, you know, if you are able to, if you want to serve on a committee, I believe, Supervisor Rowe, I respectfully disagree, because I think that committee should work with you to the time when you can meet. Yes, I understand there are committees that meet regularly very early in the morning or in the afternoon. But if they have, and I hear my two other supervisors say, if they have expertise in that matter, then the four other members of that committee should want to move to when that person can meet. I keep on hearing these things about we want service or expertise, and then we shouldn't, we're here for service. I agree with that. But then I hear these people who don't want to give up committee assignments. They do take ownership. This isn't for me. This is for everyone. Everyone was elected on this board. Everyone has some interest in serving the people of this county. And by serving on a committee, they can best serve their constituents. I'm not saying they have 3 or 4. Give them one assignment. And those commission and boards that were mentioned, I would wholeheartedly, I say to you, go to the county executive and ask if you can be placed on one of those if you have interest in that. I keep on hearing this argument. I don't buy it. I don't buy the argument that, and I know I'm not the only one who spoke about this. I know others before me who said committees should not be assigned just because when they meet. If they're supposed to be assigned your expertise, the committee should meet when they can, when that person can meet. And I think there's enough diversity in on our types of boards and commission. I'm sorry, on the meetings, on the committees that we have, that everyone can get one committee assignment.
Supervisor Hardy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There wasn't a spot on the committee assignment list to indicate whether time availability was a factor on committee preferences. So for the record, I'd like to say, even though I do work full-time, I am willing to accommodate my schedule for any committee appointments at any time during the week, daytime or nighttime, early in the morning. Thank you.
And through the past years, when tomorrow or next week when you meet, after assignments are given out, that the majority of that committee will decide what time you're going to meet. If you can't make it, but they will at least have an opportunity to say, I'd like to meet at 11, 10, whatever time it is.
Okay.
Maybe it won't, maybe you'll lose out, but at least that discussion is always, under most circumstances, is handled that way, that they'll meet. So I just have, okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to ask, is availability, is that a factor in committee appointments as to whether
No.
a person is perceived as able to make a particular
One of the
time? Or no?
factors is going to be how many boards and commissions you're on. If you serve on 5 boards and commissions, Mr. Widener last year, he got a list that long, boards and commissions he serves on. I didn't put him on anything. He shouldn't be on anything. I mean, I guess he did get on one thing, but I'm just using it as an example. It's not fair to the rest because there's assignments for everybody. And I look at it, if you serve on a lot of boards and commissions, that will affect if you get on how many committees you get on. I mean, it has to, otherwise it's just the select few that do everything. I'm sorry that I used it as an example. Okay, we'll vote by machine on the resolution. Vote aye if you approve, no if you don't. That is failed. Oh, that is failed. I'd like to bring forward Resolution 004-42-014, adopt the rules of the Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. Then moved and seconded. Supervisor Warnke.
You know, I asked a question here last month. We have a kind of a rule here that really isn't brought out very much, but when anybody leaves their seat in the board, they're supposed to punch out. And in that way, they had an incident years ago where other people were voting for other people. And I asked the question, how do you punch out on these new machines? And I never got an answer.
The clerk will explain it.
If someone wants to, if they're getting up to go to the restroom or to step outside, they can indicate to us that they want to be marked as excused. Likewise, if they're leaving for the meeting, we can take care of it up here. We don't, the system can be set so that you can do it yourself, but we haven't exercised that option, mainly because we don't want people to do that accidentally. So it's best if they let us know, and then we can take care of it up here.
Like for an example, all the people that, I believe there were 3 of them left early, they all told me that they were, when they walked in, before I was even appointed up here, they says, I'm going to be leaving at 6:45. I'm going to be leaving at 6:30. I'll be leaving at, they've all, and we addressed it up here immediately. But when somebody walks out, no, we don't address it.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
It's mainly for the budget period, because during the budget period, we do a lot of voting. And, you know, it's a long day, so people are up and down a lot. And I don't know, I guess you can't do it if you can't punch out with these things, so.
We will work on it. Supervisor Norton. Supervisor Eisen.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Will we be obtaining the explanation of the county board voting system?
We just did when they voted here.
Then it was a personal assist from one supervisor to the other?
Well, everybody, they voted 2 different times here.
Wasn't a public assist? I suppose I was looking for a public presentation of the voting procedure, but it was
seeing that there was
done on a private basis. Thank you.
Supervisor Haig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had just noticed in the rules, they must have been copied out of the most recent book because the tentative dates were 2012 and 2013. So there should be 2014 dates available soon. And the only other point of emphasis, and maybe this should have been brought up at the last question, was in regards to the Committee on Committees. I know that there was some issues last year with the leaking of committee assignments, and I'm hoping that as committee assignments are deliberated and decided this time, that they will be presented to the board in a more uniform fashion.
We talked about it in the clerk's office immediately after all the appointments are done. You will receive some type of message as soon as they're done.
Thank you, sir.
Your point was well taken last time. Supervisor Robel.
Yep. We got to vote on your last resolution.
Oh, okay. I thought we did. Yes?
Is there a mechanism for collecting the committee assignments desired by the supervisors?
I believe they've all given them to the clerk here, so see that the clerk gets it.
Thank you.
We'll bring up the vote for the, huh? Okay. Okay, we'll vote on the last one. Vote aye if you approve, no if you disapprove. I can only hear when it's brought over the mic.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move that we adjourn until Tuesday, April 22nd at 6 p.m.
We are adjourned.